Okay. Okay. Sounds all right. Not on live yet, right? Oh, you on live? Oh, wow. Okay. This is Egyptian musk. I love the smell of this stuff. Enru, New Men gave this to me. The Egyptian musk is the pure oil. I love the smell of this stuff. I'm about to start in a minute. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Show my hair ain't messed up. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. I want to touch on a myriad of topics. Greetings, greetings, greetings. All right. How's everybody doing? Everybody hear me? Menzak Famazi, Menzak. Menzak Famazi. All right. All right, we're about to start in a minute. A few things I want to touch on. All right. A few things I want to touch on. All right. Be right back.
I was pretty sure the chat is working.
All right. All right. All right. All right. Trying to get my do together. Primping on camera. All right. We are on live. We are on live. 1 second, we're about to start. All right. Okay.
What?
All right. All right. All right. All right. Menzak Famazi. Menzak. Good evening. Good evening. All right. All right. We got a lot of people in here. All right. I want to share this. I'm going to share it. Just sharing a little bit with everybody. All right. Okay. All right. Trying to share everywhere. Share in the groups. All right. I'll be answering questions and things like that. Answering questions. You know, make sure I take questions once start first and foremost. Before we start, in the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust, and Amen we thank, and Amen we continue forward forever. Can I get a Hail Amen? Hail Amen. Hail Amen. All right. All right. Okay. We're going to touch on quite a few things. This thing has been I've been hearing this thing lately about people talking about how black people were saying at a certain point in time they were supposed to get some power in December. How many of y'all heard about that? They saying black people were saying they were supposed to get some power in December. I think it was the 21st or something like that, right? That some power was supposed to happen. like some switch was supposed to, something was supposed to switch on, and black folks were supposed to have some kind of power or some business like that. How many of y'all heard that? Why now? Why are they talking like this now? And why talking like this short of the new year? Why you think they talking like that? You know why they saying stuff like that? Because even the so-called black race, knows that something is about to happen. They don't know what it is, per se, all the way. They don't know, but they know something's about to happen. You see, because I said before, black people, the bright ones get it first, and we start to go through our reconfiguration and our transformation. We start to go through that. But the so-called black race, who still has some semblance of mental nerve, sometimes they'll get certain triggers and they know certain things is about to happen. You see, they'll know certain things is about to happen. They're not a part of it, and they know something's supposed to happen. They know a transformation is supposed to happen. But they don't get it, and they wondering where it's going. But they know something is supposed to transpire, with our people. They know something is supposed to happen. You see, they're not a part of it, but they know something's supposed to happen. It's like that. It's like they pick it up, but nothing goes through. See, they don't know it's supposed to be a mental transformation. They know it's going to be some sort of physical transformation down the line, but they don't know that the mental transformation is supposed to start first. Because why all of a sudden they're saying that now? Where did that even come from? Where did that even come from? You see, where did that even come from? That so-called black people supposed to be inheriting some kind of power, and then we supposed to be getting some kind of power. That come from them knowing, like I said, they know instinctively, because like I said, when you lose connection to logic and rationale and to a mental connection, you start breaking down to the lowest level, which is instinct, pretty much like an animal. You start going off of instinct. Like how, for example, when you see when something is about to happen in nature, something's about to happen in the environment, in the atmosphere, the animals start they start getting up and they start looking, they might flee and they might run, but they could sense something's going to happen. You know what I'm talking about? Even the animals could pick it up. They know something's about to happen because they're going off of instinct. They can feel it. And you so-called black people, y'all can feel it too, but it's not going to take hold within the so-called black race, because what they don't understand is that it has to be a mental thing that happens first and foremost before it is a physical thing. And if you're not on that level mentally, if you're not in alignment toward that fourth dimensional shift, then you're not going to be able to experience it first and foremost mentally, and then you're not going to be able to experience physically. They know about the physical. They picking up, like I said, the after wave, the shock of what's going through here. They picking it up, but it's very faint with them. They know something's supposed to happen. It's like what I'm saying, that you see, black people are picking up a lot of the they're picking up a lot of the attributes of the beast, right? And being that they're picking up a lot of the attributes of the beast, it made me wonder why. Because it was a time while people would resist the degenerate attributes of the beast, the things that they into. You see, they would resist that, the homosexuality, lesbianism, all this stuff. They would resist this kind of stuff. But now they're starting to embrace it, because, you see, before you are able to pass through something, before you are able to ascend beyond something, you have to pass through it unscathed, meaning that you can't allow the whole of that mental degeneracy to pull you back. It's meant to be a test for you. Like, for example, if you are exposed to something and you start to take on what you were exposed to, that's like your mental system has failed. Like, for example, if somebody exposed you to something and it doesn't take hold in your body, then that means you're immune against it. So we're being exposed to the degeneracy of the beast. And those of us who have bypassed this degeneracy, all this transgender, gay, all this madness they got going out here. Those of us and pedophilia, all the stuff they're gonna have going out here. Like I said, those are the so-called black race that get caught up in that. Those are the ones who fail because we're supposed to pass through all of that. You see, they have, that's the test right there. That's the test right there. I told you the test is a mental test. Those who will move past or bypass what the beast is putting out here, that go for you so-called black men who are still into this liberated mindset, yet you can't let it go. You're going down with them. See, this is all meant to be a test. See, his degeneracy, like I said, we done been through everything here. We done been through everything here. We done seen, everything here for the most part. And the ones, that's why I said when I did that broadcast, I said only the mentally strong will survive. Because we're going to be put through it mentally. We're going to see all of these things before they come to an end. We're going to see the beast that his full-on degeneracy, homosexuality, lesbian, all this stuff they into. I ain't even got to go there. All the stuff they into. We're going to see all of this before it phases out. And it's going to take hold in the minds of certain people who are going to go and be destroyed right along with it. You see, that's why the beast is coming down to you. He wants to take as many people with him in order to craft out the gray race. He needs those willing vessels, those open vessels who are receiving that degeneracy from him, that mental degeneracy from him, to take them with him. He needs them. You see? And many of you so-called black people, you're going to go with him. You ones who still following his ways, you ones who still caught up in his madness, you're going to go right with him. You see? And this is where it's coming to right now. Because this current society is not going to fit into the fourth dimension. I told you that. This current society as it is, like I said, if the society, the reason why the beast is pushing all of this abnormal, illogical, and degenerate behavior is because it's a way of trying to block the fourth dimensional frequency from coming in. In other words, if everything was still decent at one point in time when he was in rulership, things were decent, things were pretty, then it would naturally flow into where we going here. But because he doesn't want it to naturally flow in, and him coming out of power and a state of peace and a state of mental peace, he wants to create mental confusion to slow it down. You see, he wants to create confusion to slow it down. You follow what I'm saying? He wants to create confusion to slow things down. You see? He's doing that because, like I said, he's trying to slow things down. He's trying to reestablish, because he knows he can't really build an order or continue things going forward. He can't continue it going forward based on what he's doing. The homosexuality, the lesbian, and the transgenderism, the breaking up of the nuclear family, the pushing of feminism. He can't sustain a society on that, because his society wasn't based on that. He built his society on what? He built his society on so-called morals, the nuclear family, and that's what made America great, right or wrong. Isn't that what made America great for the time being? He based it on the nuclear family, the father, mother, children, religion, morals, things like, at least that's what he put out front. Then of course he had the things in the back, the degeneracy he was doing, but now the degeneracy is coming to the front. You see what I'm saying? So he can't sustain, right? Like I said, if you think it's not real that this stuff is coming to an end, this shows you need these things in place. You need the things that are natural, that's naturally in place: man, woman, children, morals, law, decency, order. You need these things in place to maintain your society. If you don't have these things in place to maintain your society, then you're not going to have no society. As simple as that. You cannot look at a good example of this. These people always talking about Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Then what did Sodom and Gomorrah do? Did it not fall down for what they was doing, what they pushing and advocating here? The same things that they were advocating here, they're advocating now. In this day and time, 2020, in America, homosexuality, lesbianism, transgender, all this madness, you see, bestiality, pedophilia, all the things they're going to make legal here, that's what brought down those societies. You see, you can't continue going forward or for degeneracy. It's imbalanced, exactly. It's not configured. That type of behavior is not configuring to the fourth dimension. So that type of that has to be destroyed as the reconfiguration is happening. That's why I said, all people, we got to get ourselves straight, man. We ain't got time to be worried about what's going on here in this society, man. We ain't got time to be worrying about no voting. We ain't got time to be marching for nobody. We got to get our family together, our community, get our people together, man. I'm talking about the bright race. I'm not even talking about the so-called black race, because they done already. They done. They have made it open. They're gonna make an open declaration to follow the beast, man. They're going to make an open declaration to follow Luciferianism, Satan, whatever. They're going to follow, and they're going to go right along with this. And this is their way out, man. They've already made it. They've already decided where they're going to go. In Amen, they don't trust. You see, in Amen, they don't trust. That's the true Lord. They don't trust in the fourth dimension of reconfiguration. This is not even in their mind. They're meant to just go out with the beast, man. Those are the weak-minded. The ones who are going to fall for all this stuff, the liberated female, all the other stuff I mentioned. This is because the liberated female, in order to call yourself progressive and liberated in this society, you got to accept the ways of Babylon, of Sodom and Gomorrah. You got to accept those ways. That's how they get you to accept it. And this is how they keep you blocked from the fourth dimension. Because all the people, they don't try and block the fourth dimension out, that reconfiguration and that rebuilding of law, order, structure, and the acknowledgement and the reception of the Most High, the true Lord, which is our ascendants. They don't want to see that happen. So they have to throw a monkey wrench in it to stop it. This is the monkey wrench. All the stuff you see that they don't, it's not, they already know they're not trying to build another society. They're not trying to. They know they can't build a society based on that. They know they can't build a society based on that. They ain't trying to. See, that's the thing. You keep talking about the new world order and how things, they already know they're not going to be able to sustain a society on what they pushing. They know that. They're not trying to. They're just trying to buy themselves time. You got to see that. They're trying to buy themselves time as the fourth dimension is reconfiguring everything itself. Because as I said, where there is chaos and confusion, law and order must come and replace that. That's why I said, all our people got to do, we got to get ourselves together, man. And like I said, it's not even for the so-called black race. They're not thinking on this level. They want to keep being entangled with the beast, man. They want to keep being entangled with him. You see, they fully invested in pushing all this stuff together and becoming one with the beast, man. They fully invested in it because they feel as though he's going to rule forever. And that's not going to be. They already know that's not going to happen. Right? So, like I said, the future society, the real future society is the regeneration of the nuclear family, men, women, children, law, order, the reestablishment of the true Lord, the serpentine Lord, the serpentine bloodline, the overall bloodline, those who are going to truly be in power, the almond race first, and whatever's left over is the damn human race, man. That's what it's going to be. That's the next world order that's coming in. And like I said, if we don't reconfigure ourselves to it, if we don't start changing our mind, if we don't leave all these things behind the three-dimensional realm, we're not going to get this, man. We're going to go down with him. You see, we're going to go right down with him, and that's what he wants. He's coming down. He's trying to pull everybody with him, because why would they just abandon, the nuclear family and decency and all this? Because they know if they kept going along with it, then we would just go ahead and just ease right into it. And they don't want that, because as we ease into it, they're not going to be able to ease into that. They're not going to be able to ease into it. So if they can't ease into it, if they can't take, because they kept saying they want to make things how it used to be, but they can't make things how it used to be. They can't. They can't make things how they used to be. They already had their time already. Their time is done. Anything, like I said, anything artificial has a time limit, has a time frame. See, the projection will always be. It will always extend. But anything that has a time limit, anything that's artificial that was created has a time. It has a beginning and it has an ending. Now they've come to their ending. Simple as that. Simple as that. They're gonna try one last hurrah, and they're gonna take you so-called black people with them. And that's fine. You belong to them anyway. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna do the broadcast tonight at 10 o'clock on the Planet of the Apes. Let me see if we get some questions in here. Let me get some questions in here. All right. I'm gonna touch on some things. I had a lot of things I had in my phone topics. I forgot I had. All right. Hold on. I'm gonna bring up some topics. People, please. My question: why is language so powerful? Whether words are spoken, written, and heard, brain waves, telepathy. Yeah, that's why language is. I am attracted to adjectives, words, adjectives, words that describe nouns, people, place, and possession. My question is: why is language so powerful? Whether the words are spoken, written, or heard. Brain waves, telepathy. Yeah, that's why they're powerful, because they make impressions. Words make impressions, and words and tones and frequency, they was meant to make impressions in the mind and in the brain. They were meant to make imprints or inlays in your brain. That's why they resonate and they register so much in your brain, because they were meant to. Certain way people say things, certain words, they say a combination of words, it makes an impression in your mind as it's supposed to, because that's your, as your mind is receiving it and it's making an impression or imprint in your brain, it is basically, storing itself for future reference, and it will constantly reverberate in your brain. Once it has been received through the mind and went into the brain and made an impression, it will continuously reverberate in your brain, and you will hear it. That's the impression it makes. All right. Does the transmission introduce enhanced senses? My hearing has been really sensitive lately. Yes, it does. That's one of them. Yeah. Yep. And because, like I said, it's like a reverb or reverberation. See, our telepathic power and things that are coming in, because that's the first thing that comes in is telepathy, intuition, telepathy. Those are the first things that start to come in gradually. That comes because, like I said, there's a reverb of this message continuously. Those of you who continuously listen to Mentellect, listen to the broadcast every night, there's an impression being made on, it's being picked up. You are receiving it, and mentally you're receiving it, and an impression is being made in your brain from the mind being pulled into the brain. So it is making an impression, and thus in making that impression, the senses are being heightened now. The sentences are being heightened. Okay. Let me see, make sure. Who is Marduk, and why is he not spoken of today? Marduk, Melchizedek, Michael, is all the same person. We're not in the time of Marduk, Melchizedek, Michael, and things like that. The one who actually took on that attribute or that physical being at one point in time was Dr. Malachi Z. York. That time is come and gone. We're not in that time anymore. We're in a time of the rising of the people who are of the elect being raised into a state of power as the race of Amen. It's not about no individual right now. It's about the collective body being raised. You see, when Dr. York was talking about Marduk and Enki, it was more or less the focus was on him, but he was talking about raising 144. But like I said, the raising of the 144 was the most important thing. Color saturated nature. Words are powerful based on how they use. Okay. Why do stationary objects sometimes look as though they are moving to me? They're moving because they are moving. Everything is created. Everything is moving. Certain things, even objects that seem to be still are still moving. You see, they're still moving, but just at a slower rate. And then you're able to see it moving at a slower rate because it's made of what? It's made of atoms. You see, atoms were like the physical became the physical building block of objects. So atoms move. So you could look at a chair, you could look at a cup, and if you stare at it long enough, it will appear to move because you are focusing on it because these things do move. Objects move, but they just move slowly. You see? Let me see. We think we are held back by repeating historical figures instead of moving forward with our messenger today. Okay. I see object. Okay. Will the weather be the same in every state, region, and upper dimension? Yeah, it will. Yeah. Time's going to be the same as well. Is telekinesis another ability? Yeah. Anything dealing with communication, because all of the telepathy, psychometry, clairvoyance, intuition, that's all dealing with communication. That's all communication. Anything dealing with extended communication, because communication is what gives things power. You see? Because, see, people don't understand when they used to say the power of the word, the power of the word. The word represents communication. You can't have any high mental powers if there is no communication first and foremost to get it started. So when people talk this nonsense about, oh, talking, just talking brings action. Talking creates extended communication. Communication is how you really move things about, not by physically doing things, but by the communication, by the word, because you can move a lot of things physically by expressing things by communication, mentally and verbally. You can move a lot of things. You can get people to move a lot of things. Let me see. You said, how is telekinesis different from the others? It's just a more of an extended form of communication. That's all. It's just more, see, all of the things, anything dealing with tell is communication. So it's just more of an extension of that. If you got, in other words, telepathy, intuition, telekinesis, all that helps in extending your vision, your hearing, the tone, and how far your voice carries, the frequency and tone of how because all that's affected by telekinesis, telepathy. You know, all that's affected by it helps all these fit together to give more of a what's the word I want to say? To give more of a push, a more of an extension in your mental capabilities and your communication capability. It all works together. It's like parts of a extended communication center. You see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Are the what is it? Are the what they I don't understand. And what is that? And are the armies? Is that what you're supposed to be elect of the future? Yeah, I've typed that back and I can't see what that is. And I'm looking at it. All right. Are people's deaths going to become more personal? More and more of my family members have been dying as years go on. Yeah, I mean, the people who are not, the people who are deemed to be unnecessary in this next chapter, who are not going to go through the evolution, they're going to eventually pass on. That's not to say they can't be regenerated in the fourth dimension, but they're going to pass on because they're not necessary in this. See, a lot of people who are not going to be useful in the extension, the mental extension into the fourth dimension, the reconfiguration, they're going to pass on, man. Simple as that. The ones who can't extend themselves into the fourth dimension, they're going to eventually pass on, because if we are here, as we are here, we're going to be moved forward. We can't help but to be moved forward. We're going to be moved forward as we are here. Okay. Are you are speaking of life into our people. You are speaking. Man, everyone will not move in the same direction except for those who are meant to move. Exactly. Everybody's not going to move. And the people who are not going to move, they eventually going to die off. It's just like anything, because part of this moving of this reconfiguration into the fourth dimension is we got to start moving, man, mentally together. We have to come together. That's why we abandoned the black race and we had to evolve into the bright race. That's why I said going forward, you ain't going to see me putting no more energy into any black topics no more, because it's a dead subject. The whole black and white thing is a dead subject now. We got to put energy into the extension of the bright race. Those who can't do that, they can't be with us, man. Those who still want to be black, still want to be talking about Egypt and Africa and all these and going to Africa, man. I had a guy call me up and tell me he listened to me all the time. But then he's like, I'm like, okay, you listen to me all the time, but then you telling me I need to come to Africa. I'm like, for what? Wherever I got people that's where I am. I don't need to go to Africa. I don't need to go to no place per se. You know what I'm saying? And I'm definitely not going to where I got to get no shots, no vaccine. I'm not doing that. But my thing is, I said the whole planet is going to belong to the almond race over time in the future. All right. If you don't know anime, anime are Japanese cartoons. Okay. I didn't know. Okay. I didn't know because the person said it wrong. Okay. I was trying to make out what he was saying. The question was anime, Dragon Ball Z. I don't know about the cartoons, man. I'm not into the cartoons like that. Could a structure be forming in the ROM as the next police force? A structure in the ROM is going to be a planetary order. It's going to be a planetary order of law enforcement in the future. It's going to be a planetary order beyond just it's going to just be a planetary order in the future. It's a future planetary order of law and order. Will there be a next stage of reptiles projected here? Yeah. Everything's going to go through an evolution here. Even the humans are going to go through somewhat of an evolution, because just them becoming the gray races are really somewhat of an evolution, even though it's really a revolution. But them becoming one, because if you listen to the Luciferians, you know their goal is to bring everybody together, right? The Luciferians' goal is to bring everybody together, black, white, all the races, all under one order, right? And that is right for them. That is right for the Luciferians and the Satanists, the people who are pushing that everybody gonna come together, be together. That's why they're pushing the black and white together. They want everything together because that creates confusion. You see, everybody together creates confusion. You have to have separation, but that's okay for the so-called human race. They're going to be together in these last days because they're going to need to be together to survive as the gray race. They're going to need to be together, but we as the bright race, we're going to stand out from them. We're going to stand apart from them. Let me see. The death of the black race is already written and preordained. It is. It is. You see, black people keep taking L's all the way around. Black people taking L's, and through politics, through racism, they taking L's all the way around. You see, because they put their energy into this. That's why, see, we don't put our energy into nothing here, so it really don't affect us here. If we don't put our energy into it, we don't expect nothing from this whole three-dimensional thing we going through. We don't expect nothing. We know this is not our space. This is not our mental space. We evolving and growing beyond that. And this is what we pushing for. You see, in the mind of so-called black people, this is life. This is reality to them. This is reality. This is real to them. That's why in their mind they say you only live once. This is YOLO. This is their life. This is it for them. That's why they say things like you only live once, because in their mind they're going to just keep living and be a part of this thing. This is their once in a lifetime thing. Once in a lifetime, they're going to get this three-dimensional thing once. Let me see. What books do you recommend reading to get caught up on understanding the great foundational book? What is a great foundational book? I'm the great foundational book. There's no books. The books are done. The books are done. I don't read books, so I'm not going to tell you to go and read no book. See, that's the problem with our people. Y'all always looking for a white man or somebody to write a book to tell y'all something, man. That's still that black mentality, man. We're supposed to be able to hear something logically and rationally and see things going in the direction, and we're supposed to be in alignment with that. We're sitting around reading a book. See, we're not in the age of information no more. I told y'all that before. We're not in the age of information. We're coming into the age of intelligence. So if you can't receive things mentally and know which direction you're supposed to be going based in logic and rationale, not in belief, because belief is pushed in books. People push beliefs in books because you can't question the book. So you ain't got no other choice but to believe the book, right or wrong. You can't question that book. So don't tell me beliefs are not pushed in books. You can question me. You can't question that book, but you want to go read a book. You want to go read a book. You can't question the book. So you ain't got no other choice but to believe in that book once you read it. Let me see. And the elect are going to be the overseers of the planet. They're going to be the overseers of the planet. They're not going to be the police. Police means policy. Now, they're going to be the lords and the overseers, the landlords, the overseers of the gray race. You see, the human race. See, that's what it meant when it said the Lord is coming down on earth, man. That meant that race of Amen beings coming on earth, man, our ascendants. That's what that means. Let me see. Let me see. I equate the movement of groups of birds, fish, bees as one unit. They all know what the other is doing, yet they move accordingly. Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Is normal reaction for your sight to blur when your mind is in a deep focus on a message. Yeah, that happens. That can happen. It depends on the person. Certain times your mind, you will go blank or get a blur, and when you're trying to receive something, yeah, that happens. Exactly. Police is low level. That's why if you notice people talk about defunding the police and things like that, because you see, on a submental level, they know that the police is really not, they're not here to really keep law and order. That's why people are saying, see, they don't really understand why they're saying things like defund the police, but they're saying that because on a submental level, they know that these people, these law enforcement, these policy keepers, or what they call police policy keepers, they're corrupt. They're just security guards for the elites, man. They're not overseers and they're not people of law and order. They're just here to keep the policy of the corporation. Let me see. I'm on a live. I'll talk to you later.
Huh?
I'm on live. Talk to you later.
Okay.
All right. That's mine. Let me see. All right. Since then, let me see. Trying to make sure I answered your questions. I want to make sure I answer your questions. Since there has been a mass extinction, could there be considered a sixth? Since there's been 5 mass extinctions, can it be considered 6? I remember learning about the previous extinctions, but the teacher didn't think there was going to be a 6th one. Yeah, it's going to be an extinction. It's going to be extinction of the human race, but not an extinction where they're totally wiped out. You see, because as the races are now, they're gonna be wiped away. The lines of the races are gonna be wiped away, and they're gonna be consumed and consolidated into one race. So if you say there's no more black people, there's no more white people, there's no more these people, it's just the grays or the neutral race, whatever they're gonna call them, then that's a form of extinction of the races. Yeah, because mind over books. Yeah, because the books represent the matter, the material. Again, it's going to be about what you're able to receive, not what you're able to read. It's going to be about what you're able to receive. Because again, we're not in the age of information no more. We're coming into the age of intelligence. Because the beast gonna lie to you. He will make a book and lie to you, and y'all still sitting up here talking about reading books. He'll make a book and lie right to you in the book. Exactly. Hearing is fundamental, not reading. Let me see. Yeah. They use their books to program you anyway. Practice listening and hearing before observing bigger picture. Let me see. Amen sends daily transmissions. Listen to them, hear them, and follow them. Exactly. I've noticed that the plants and trees continuously extend when I stare at them. Is this a part of the extension? You said the plants and trees continuously extend. They're going to extend whether you're looking at them or not. You just noticing them extending and growing. They ain't got nothing to do with you staring at them. They're going to extend regardless. Let me see. Is it possible for your future state to show you things that hasn't happened yet, like items play? Exactly. Yeah, of course. You got to be in tune with that, though. You have to be in tune with your future self. That's what coming into the fourth dimension is. You have to be in tune with your future self. See, a lot of people are really still in tune with their present self, but they think it's their future self. That's why you still have the certain fears and the certain things that you do, and you still keep repeating the same behavior, because a lot of people are still in touch with their present self. They're not in touch with their future self. They still in touch with their present self. Because if you're talking about you're supposed to be in touch with your future self, yet you still talking about the same things, or you still got the same fears, and you still got the same immature way that you had, and you thinking that's what you're supposed to take with you into the future, then that's a sign that you're not connecting with your future self. A future self, or the future you, may not even exist. You see, because the future you is not supposed to have any of those old hangups. You're not supposed to have all those old hangups and connections to the things in the three-dimensional world of people, place, and possession. You're not supposed to have that. Let me see. Can you further clarify the difference between ascendants, descendants, ancestors, and other types of genetic relations? Ascendants are your children, your grandchildren, those who have yet to come forward, who are coming from you. Descendants are those who are past, that we come from already, that we passed. And the ancestors and the descendants are the same thing. You see, though the descendants are really those who descended down into the earth, meaning those who were projected here into the third dimension. That's the descendants. You see, you descend from, we really, I'll say it like this, really, we're the descendants. We descend from the Amen race. The ascendants represent us. Our ancestors represent those who we came from. So, you can call them ancestors, and you can say we descend from them, but we are all part of a descendancy because we came from the Amen being. We descended, or we fell down here into the three-dimensional realm. Is that clear? Let me know if that's clear to you. What's the high-pitched sound you get in your ear? I mean, it depends on what it is. It could be a little bit of everything. I'm not going to say it's one thing. You might be hearing, you might be picking up a frequency from someplace, or extended frequency that's going to make itself clear to you eventually, but it can be a bunch of things. All right. And the public would be, when in public, would the elect start to feel more? Hold on. Trying to read these. When in public, would the elect start to feel more like aliens amongst them? Yeah, you will. And not only that, they're gonna feel like that amongst you. They're gonna start treating you like that. They're gonna treat you. They already treat you like outcasts, like aliens. Why? That's really what the hostility is, because they know you are alien to them. They know that you're not what they are. That's why they treat you like that. They treat you with the racial thing, because they treat you as outcasts, aka aliens. Are dreams just mental focused visions of what's to come? Some dreams are. Some are just things of what was lodged in your brain. See, it's different types of dreams. You got certain things of visions and certain things of dreams. Visions tend to deal with future things. Dreams tend to deal with things that are already been made an impression that from the third dimension has made its, that's made its way into your brain, and it's just happened to be lodged there, and you can just be playing it over mentally. You could be playing it over in your mind, things that have been lodged in your brain, things that you may have saw, things that's in your memory, things that you can't seem to get out of your head, and you keep it plays itself over. So that's a dream. Visions are things you'll see in the future, things that'll flash to you, things you'll see to guide you, to help you. Is that clear? Okay. Menzo, that makes sense, that people are confused about who they are connected to, the future self versus the present self. How do you know the difference? Past, present, emotions, future, clear direction. Yeah, future is clear direction. The past and the present, like I said, if you still hanging on to the same emotional hangups and you still going through the same things, you can't get past it. That's people who still keep pulling their present and they past, trying to push it forward. So they living in the present continuously. They don't know how to move toward the future, because the future is supposed to be clear. It's not supposed to be nothing there. The future is supposed to be clear. Will the evolution bring more harsher gases to the planet? Yes, it will. Yeah. Sunlight squint is nothing but a reason why. It's because energy is placed around the lids, making sensitive. The brain program design is to squint. Okay, I guess you're making, people making statements in here. I'm like, okay. I'm trying not to read the statements. I'm trying to make sure I focus on the questions. Is it more demonic energy in the southern slave states? Yeah, it is. There's a lot of demonic energy there. Yeah, because a lot of horrific things happen there. You see, a lot of horrific things happen there. So, and a lot of horrific things happen. There's a lot of demonic energy all over the planet. You see, a lot of demonic energy, but especially down there, because that's the place of a lot of demonic energy. I want to look at some of these topics that I wanted to touch on. Give me a second. All right, let me look at some of this stuff I wanted to touch on, because I had a lot of things that I found in my phone, stuff I meant to touch on from class, because stuff I did not get caught, and I started going into other stuff. Hold on. In the future, will we be able to see the real shape of the sun and the planet? In the future, will we be able to see the real? Yeah. You're going to see everything as it really is. Yeah, that's real. You're going to see everything as it really is, because we're not going to be under the illusion of the three-dimensional world no more. So yeah, we're going to be able to see everything as it really is. You see, like you're starting to see right now, you're starting to see things, people, places, and possessions for what they really are. So you're going to see everything as it really is as we're coming into the fourth dimension. All right. Is that clear? If the planet is destroyed eventually, then does the demonic energy cease to exist? The planet's not going to be destroyed. The planet is not going to be destroyed. Just the societies that were set up on the planet, they're going to be destroyed, not the planet itself. If the planet is going to be regenerated, but in order for it to be regenerated, these societies have to be destroyed, because these societies are not in alignment with the regeneration of the earth. You see what I'm saying? The regeneration of the earth, it has to, because what is the beast doing? The ones in society doing? They're destroying the water. They're destroying the environment. So these people and their systems have to go down in order for the earth to come back up. It's like the earth is, has a virus on it. It's like a virus, like you get a virus in the computer. It's not until a virus is wiped away or neutralized that the computer can run effectively. That's the same thing with this planet, because the beasts have all his societies all over the planet, and they're destroying the environment. So they have to be wiped away. These things have to be wiped away, and a righteous order has to be reinstalled. An extended order of law and order has to be reinstalled for the earth to move flawlessly into the fourth dimension, because we're going to get a lot of bumps and breaks as we moving into the fourth dimension. We're going to see a lot of people bugging out. We're going to see a lot of people losing their mind because these people want to still hold on to the third dimensional things, and these things are fleeting. They that's why we had to make the separation within the so-called black race, because the black race, they want to hold on to the three-dimensional world. They want to hold on to politics and religion and all the things of the three dimension. They want to hold on to spirituality, metaphysics, so-called science, the white male nonsense. They want to still hold on to that, man. That's why we had to separate from them, because they're going to slow us down. They'll fight with you they're going to fight with you to keep you black and keep you in that satanic / Luciferian mindset of accepting the ways of the beast, because that's all they know and that's all they're trying to hear. This right now is not real to them, and that's fine. It's not supposed to be, because they're not a part of it. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Everybody follow what I'm saying? Yeah, over time. Who is Mentellectual One in here? Who is Mentellectual One? Who's Mentellectual One? Who's under that thing on here? Mentellectual One. Who's using that? Give me the. What was that? Yeah, who's using Mentellectual One? Who's under there using that? Somebody let me know. Give me the name of the person who's using Mentellectual One, and that on the live. Who's using that? Is that one of our people? Inbox who's using Mentellectual One on Facebook. I want to know who's using that. Who's using Mentellectual One? You just asked me, would the elect become immune to human attacks? Yeah, over time, yeah, they are. But I would like to know who you are, who's using Mentellectual One. I'd like to know that. You're still asking me questions. I'm asking who is using Mentellectual One before I continue with you. Can the almond being produce a physical object from just a thought? Well, first and foremost, who is Mentellectual One? You have to answer me that before I continue to answer for you. What is your name? And are you in the Republic of Mentellect? See, people set up things on YouTube and do stuff like that. I have to stop that, people using that term intellectual. Who's using that term and who's asking me these questions? Who's Mentellectual One? Because I'm not going to answer your question until you tell me who you are. Okay, I'm reading through the statements. All right. I'm going to get some of these topics out I had stored in the phone. No, give me, Enrod Damani, give me the question again. I'm trying to find out who's Mentellectual One, and I'm trying to catch everybody's question as we going. Enrod Damani, you gotta ask the question again. Can the eyes adjustment to sudden darkness be sped up instead of gradually adjusted? Can the eyes adjustment to sudden darkness be sped up? No, it'd be adjusted. Adjusted. Just like when you're adjusting a lens, your eyes are like a lens, they can be adjusted. Okay. All right. Let me see. trying to catch all of these questions. Okay. Can almond beings produce physical objects from just a thought? They will be able to. Yeah, they will be able to. Yeah. All right. Okay. Said, oh, cool. He is a member, Menzo. Okay, that's all I care. But I just want to make sure they was a member. All right. All right. I'm trying to make sure I catch everybody questions. Will the planet turn into water surrounding one land during the reconfiguration? Will the planet turn into water? No, the planet's not turning into water. No. If anything, more solid mass is going to start to emerge from out of the water. More solid mass is going to start to emerge from out of the water. Let me see. Okay, in the future, Enrod Damani, I see. In the future, will we have the gray race build our society, or will we already be projected built? They're going to maintain society. Their job is going to be to maintain it. Our societies, they're going to just be like what you see right now with the humans working and whatnot, and the elites controlling everything. It's going to be like more of an extended version of that, Enrod Damani. I'm sorry I missed your question. I'm trying to get everybody's questions. I'm not meaning to ignore people's questions. I'm just trying to get everybody's questions. In the future, will we be able to see real shape? I got that already. If the planet is destroyed eventually, then does the demonic energy cease to exist? The planet is not going to be destroyed. The demonic energy is going to be locked into the 3-dimensional realm, not into the 4th dimension. I answered that. Enrod Damani, in the future, will we have the gray race build us? Okay, yeah. No, they're going to maintain it. They're going to maintain it. All right. They're going to work. That's their job. They're going to work. See, everything that's being done here is going to be an extension of that. Anybody, if I missed your questions, I apologize. Just put it back in the thing. I'll answer it. And if I missed your questions. Mr. Mincares, could you expound? Oh, let me make sure I got all these questions. I don't want nobody getting no attitude with me that's saying I'm not answering questions. I'm just trying to get every question. Okay. DJ Gambler, thanks for posting up the broadcast. Thank you so much. Thank you for posting our broadcast on your thing. All right. Yeah. All right. Hold on. All right. Could you expound on the time being the same all over the world, no time zones being relevant anymore going forward? Because as the everything in the 4th dimension becomes one, everything comes in sync. See, time zones had to be created. That's a man-made concept of time zones. And that was to give them an idea of when the sun's light is being rotated through the moon, when the projection of the sun is being rotated through the moon, and the moon is rotating around the earth and dispatching projections and sunlight and things like that. So they had to create a time zone. They had to create time zones in which that projection was at its highest peak and would be going into the atmosphere of the planet. So they had to create time zones. So now that the rotation won't be necessary in the fourth dimension because people are going to be receiving directly from the fourth dimension and whatnot. Those who are in the fourth dimension, the time zone, the time is going to be the same. You see, we're going to lock time in to be the same everywhere. Everything will be one. Okay. How will Amen get going? How tall will the Amen? How tall will the Amen will get going out of them? And you're asking how tall the Amen are going to be. I guess that's what you're trying to ask. You gotta know what you're typing before you type it. You're welcome, Mr. Minkari. I will continue to re-upload. Thank you. Clear. Okay. Can you give us a little sneak peek of express thinking? January 1st. January 1st. No. It's simple, but very effective. It's simple, but very effective. January 1st. That has to be January 1st. Will the gray race be a slave race? Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Okay. Okay. Hold on. He says, so Andrew Michaels, he's the intellectual one? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Intellectual one. Okay. All right. When certain energies from the past are more abundant in certain areas, do they have future purpose? When certain energies from the past events are more abundant in certain areas, do they have future purpose? If so, what purpose does the excess demonic energy have in southern states? I'm trying to see when certain energies, these energies that you're talking about, like I said, they remain there. They remain in those areas. They remain that way because the people, I'm gonna give you a good example of this. The beast tries to keep a certain mind frame going in the present state to keep the people open to that type of demonic possession. So they try to keep certain things going, certain ideas promoted to keep people in alignment with that demonic energy that's going in southern areas and whatnot. Like if you go down south to certain place right now, you still got black people acting like they second class citizens. You still got the racism there. So being that they still doing that and still acting that way, they're still open for that demonic energy. That's why that demonic energy stays there, because they're open vessels to it. They're not trying to move past that. They're open vessels to that demonic energy. That's why it's there. They keep racism going to keep people being open vessels for that old demonic energy that constantly renews itself. You follow what I'm saying? Is that clear? What are the children of single parents who come into the Mentellect considered to be? What are the children of single parents who come into the Mentellect considered to be? Children in the community. Children in the community. Let me say, children in the community. Community children. Community children. Little mentalists. I mean, what do you want me to say? Members of the community. If the parent is here and the parent has the custody of the children, then they are here. If your children are here, you're here. All right. All right. Let me go, because I got a lot of stuff I wanted to touch on. Can you one sec? Can you give me that the thing in the wall, the outlet in the wall. You see it, the white outlet in the wall. You see it? Is it in the wall? Or is it over there? Yeah, there you go. Yes. I want to get some of these questions. This stuff I had in my phone. I know y'all gonna want to hear this because it's stuff I had from classes and things I wanted to talk about. I only touched on a little bit, but I want to go into that because I had a lot of things I wanted to get off. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me get some of these questions up. I could come up with some more questions, but I want to touch on these topics I had a lot of them. I be thinking of stuff, then I just be like going on to something else. I gotta stay focused on these things. Okay. Give me a second. Why fourth dimensional power produces reality? I think I touched on that. Wait a minute. I had this one question. We are ready to listen and hear questions will be held after the subjects are presented. Okay. Why live in a post-apocalyptic future world? I say I live in a post-apocalyptic future world. Mentally, I live there is because if we fast track, see, I've given up a little bit of express thinking. It's more fast tracking your mind to something. I'm not going to go into it because it's more to it than that. I don't want to take up the whole thing with that. Just know that it's a way of fast tracking your mind, because now as we coming into 2021, we're going to have the ability as in January to start fast tracking our way of thinking, fast tracking our mind, fast tracking to things that have not happened in the third dimension, but we're going to start fast tracking more toward the fourth dimension, putting our focus toward the fourth dimension. See, again, express thought means a fast track into extended mental capability or extended mental transmission that we have to start chipping away at. Like I said, we need complete and total focus on the mental power. And again, making ourselves an open vessel for the mental power as a form of fast tracking our thinking and not really even thinking about this no more, man. This is supposed to be a thing of the past, because the more and more we start to fast track our focus, our thought process into extended mental capability, then that's a way of jump starting the mind. That's also a way of express thinking. But I'm gonna just hold off on that. Hold on. The power of solar well, you know why it's hard for y'all or the majority of our people to tap into the fourth dimension and collectively come in, and why it's hard for them to connect into what we're talking about, because you're constantly encountering impressionless people. Do you know what I mean when I say impressionless people? People who make no real impression. Because people whether they make a positive impression or a negative impression, that's still a zero impression. Do you know what I mean by that? Hold on just a second. You know what I mean by people that make zero impression on you, whether it be positive or negative, people who make zero impressions on you? See, if you got people who are constantly interacting with you and getting into your mental space to make zero impressions on you, be it positive or negative, that slows down your focus or your mental memory to extend forward into the fourth dimension, because people will continuously make these impressions upon you as a way of slowing you down and get you thinking about things you ain't really even supposed to be thinking about. Yeah, they don't stand out. There's nothing stand out about them, because what's supposed to really get you to stand out, because notice, you remember the people who say the things to you that are not commonly said, right? You remember people who say things to you that are not commonly said things, and that's how you remember them, by what they're saying, and that something that you're not commonly used to hearing. That's how you remember people. That's how they make an impression. That's what you're supposed to store in your mind. You're supposed to store that in your mind. You're not supposed to store common things in your mind. You're not supposed to store common things and common impressions of people in your mind, because what it does is it clouds your memory. It clouds it clogs up your memory. Common things keep you from extended memory. It clogs up your mind. Getting rid of black topics, white topics, not just black topics, human topics. It's beyond black, it's human topics. So they would be lowest to the dead receivers. Yeah. Meaningless people, yeah. Let's see. We often squint at it, not knowing reason why. It's because the energy is placed around the eyelids. Okay, I heard somebody say it already. Energy is everywhere, not just around the eyelids, but it's everywhere. But yeah, eyes pick up, they pick up energy because they're open receivers. Your eyes are open receivers for extended pictures. Your eyes are meant to be open receivers. You see, because you pull things in through what you view, and then they say your eyes flip the images over. So your eyes are receptors and projectors. Your eyes are receptors and projectors. You follow? You can project things through your eyes. You're going to be able to, as coming into the fourth dimension, you'll be able to project images through your eyes, like a projector. You'll be able to project images through your eyes. You see, like for example, if your eyes are looking a certain way, can you not? If people see how your eyes are looking, it can project fear in people, right? Without you saying anything, you can project. You look at it projects happiness in people. People just looking at your eyes. That's why they say the eyes are like the windows to the soul, because it sends it. Depending on what frequency you're on, your eyes will send a projection. It will send an image. Those who are really beyond the three-dimensional, you will project and you will pull in images through your eyes. So the same way you pull in images through your eyes, you can project images through your eyes. You see? You follow what I'm saying? Is that clear? Your eyes record images and they pull images in, but they also can project images outward. See, we're going to go toward projecting images outward. We're going to start doing that. Somebody asked me a question about levitational lift. You got to understand gravitational pull first before you understand levitation, before you even get there, and how levitation works. You're not going to be able to receive or carry levitational lift until all of these other capabilities are in alignment. Telepathy, telekinesis, psychometry, clairvoyance, intuition. These are all these names the beast give. These are nothing but components to extended mental projection. You need all of these. Images. I'm gonna give you something about this with the glasses, and I'm gonna give you something else about this in a second. You need all of these components of telecommunication, extended telecommunication, whether it be telekinesis. They use all these things: telekinesis, telepath, as a form of communication, because they are all components to extended mental capability into the upper dimensions. So they all work in a component. So, that's why I say I don't really, get into, they all are the same thing. It's all just working components. You see? Like, I'm going to give you a good example of this. I said something to somebody. I said, your eyes are supposed to become like scanners. I'm going to share something with you all. And I was going to save this for January 1st. I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit. I talked about why I wear the shades, right? Now, when you see scanners, right, you see infrared scans. When you see infrared scans, what is usually in front of the infrared scan? Is it just the light, or is it something in front of the light? What is in front of an infrared scan? Anybody know what is in front of an infrared scanner? I'll answer you in a second. Can you see the? I'll answer you in a second. What is in front of it? Exactly, a grid, right? A dark grid is in front of an infrared scanner, correct? You see a black dark grid, like a shaded grid in front of it, because when you see that, you could see the light a lot quicker, right? Isn't usually a black shaded image, and you see the red infrared, you see it flashing back and forth, correct? Isn't that what's usually in front of an infrared scan? A screen is in front of an infrared scan. Glass, dark glass, correct? Y'all see the black, you see the black screen, and then you'll see the red beam going across it, scanning, correct? A lens, thank you, a lens. A black lens is usually across the infrared scan. Is that clear? That's why we started wearing these. We started wearing shades, because it's going to become that thing where your eyes are going to become like infrared scanners. Toward the fourth dimension, your eyes will have that beam of solar projection. Remember, I said your eyes will start to scan things. You'll start to see through people. Remember that saying in the Bible, the elect of the Lord eyes. When they say the Lord in the Bible, the Lord's eyes are God's eyes. How they say their eyes are going to be 10,000 times brighter than the sun. When they're making reference to the Lord in the Bible, they're talking about the elect, or the ascendants of the elect in the future. That's what the Lord is talking about. And that's making reference to their eyes being like scanners, like lasers, where they'll be able to see through people, see through objects and everything. So that's going to start to happen. You're going to be able to see through things of the three-dimensional realm and have extended vision in the fourth dimension. That's why we started wearing these, because at certain points, you're going to start to see certain things in the eyes that you might not be ready to see. Is that clear? I want to get Imran Kendara's question before I go on. Can you see the future self? Let's see. Can you see the future self? Like I've noticed, can I be cooking or sitting down or writing? Or can I see the person not in full form or a corner of my eye, but when I look for it, it's not there? Yeah, you see portions of things. You see portions of things. And I'm going to tell y'all something. This is why I'm telling y'all, you got to keep yourself moving. In order for you, and this is key in what I'm going to tell you, those of you who have stopped working out or you stopped working out, notice when you work out, when you keep your body moving, when you keep the blood moving and things like that, your visions become clearer when you're focused. If you stop movement, if you stop motion, your images will sit still. And if your images are sitting still and you're not seeing things continuously, you're going to start to become depressed, because these images of what you had previously as you were moving, say in the summertime, because notice you tend to move more in the summertime because the heat it's nice out, you moving. So that's when your vision tend to be more extended. But when the winter time comes, you're sitting more stationary, it's cold, you're not moving around like that, the visuals start to freeze. You start to go more into a freeze frame. You're going into a depression. You don't know which direction to go into because the motion has stopped. So we have to keep moving. Like, what's that saying when they say, if the shark stops moving, it dies. If the serpent stops moving, it dies. So we got to keep moving. And that movement to us now is exercise. Burning out all of the acidic energy and things like that, and moving, get the blood flow going, getting the oxygen going in, because that helps to produce movement and produce pictures, images. Clear? Well, there come a point when people can see everything without our eyes, or will they still be necessary? Well, the eyes are the first line of what you'll see, but visually you'll be able to see the eyes are just the open part of the first part of this. What you'll see later on will be picked up through memory. Memory will pick up everything, the motion, the sensory, because your eyes are supposed to evolve into beams. That's the best way I can say, beams. Infrareds. Your eyes are supposed to become more infrared. It's supposed to evolve into beams. That's where that whole terminology, the eyes being 10,000 times brighter than the sun. That's where that comes from. That's the elect. That means beams. Let me see. Kind of like a Cyclops from X-Men. Sort of like that, but with two eyes. You see, sort of like that, because the darkness against the how this works is you actually see better with these. It makes your it makes your eyes more brighter. It makes your vision brighter. You see, it's like you putting your eyes or your sight or the light in your eyes, you're putting against something darker. So it forces it to produce, it forces your eyes to extend out past the darkness, and it'll make it brighter. Like, for example, you ever put your hands over your eyes, right? And you close your eyes tight as you can. When you open back up, you see the brighter lights, everything is brighter. That's the same ideal with this. It helps extend the brightness of your eyes. That's a part of it. You notice the infrared because of the darkness, that the dark field that it moves across. It makes the infrared appear brighter, and it becomes brighter because of the dark field that it moves across. You follow what I'm saying? Clear? Everybody clear? Everybody clear what I'm saying? Let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure I get these questions. Does this extended vision concern people's faces and there are times that people's faces would change, warp, and even deform something demonic? Well, if you're seeing certain things in people, even if it's some sort of degenerate or demonic or submental energy, your vision is starting to extend, and you're starting to see these people for what they are. That means your vision is extending. Yeah, dilation. Your eyes are dilating because, like, yeah, they're gonna basically extend toward or become more bright, or be able to absorb more brightness by putting them in darkness. That's the best way I can say. All right. Yeah, like being outside in a low lit conditions and then walking into a bright room. Correct. That's why I wear these. All right. All right. Let me make sure. Let me get some more questions. Get some more questions. Yes, when you sun gaze and then open your eyes, the brightness is very strong. Exactly. Something like that. You got to create the contrast for now in darkness, you see. I want to get these other questions up. Why do people think Amen put the book of Revelation inside the Bible? Why was the book of Revelation placed inside the Bible? Uh, uh, I want that answer. Why do you think Amen placed the book of Revelation, allowed the book of Revelation to be placed in the Bible? How mentally far ahead are bright children than their parents? Because I've heard your children can come out 10 times worse. But does that mean the bright children come out 10 times better? Yeah, they're supposed to. They're supposed to come out better. They're supposed to. Because you have to give them a springboard. You have to give them a springboard to jump from. Like, for example, if you are carrying that bright energy and whatnot, and you are detaching yourself from the three-dimensional state, then they have no other choice but to ascend higher than you, because you're putting with your level of transmission into them. So they're going to naturally extend beyond or ahead of you. They should be, unless they're around somebody who is not of Amen that you're allowing them to be exposed to constantly. Because you're going to get people who are in a state of blackness, in a state of darkness, who are going to work against the brightness. So you have to be mindful of that. You have to be mindful of that. That's why the beast always seeks out bright children, and these so-called black people seek out bright children as a way to try and destroy them mentally. They try to destroy them mentally. They see bright children and they work on destroying the children mentally. So you have to be mindful. It can even be your family members and whatnot. And they probably don't mean to, but they just their ways work on destroying them mentally and turning them worse. Because anything that you get here in the third dimension is meant to be disregarded. That's how you build your mental strength here in the third dimension, by disregarding the things of the third dimension. Disregard. That's how you build your mental strength. I'm sharing this with you all now. You build your mental strength by disregarding the things in the third dimensional realm, because they're meant to be a test to you to see if you are weak-minded enough to absorb these things. If you absorb these things, then you're not are prepared for the fourth dimension. You're not of the fourth dimension if you absorb these things. See, the third dimension is meant to catch people in that frequency of the third dimension, those who are going to be the future slaves, the future servants, the future whatever, versus those who are going to ascend beyond that and be the future rulers, the future law keepers and the law givers. That's going to be the severing of the line. You see? And I'm gonna give you something. I'm gonna give something to you also. When Elijah Muhammad was talking about the number 7 being the number of perfection, see what that was supposed to represent is the fourth dimension. Those who are of the fourth dimension, meaning those who are Amen, on top of the third dimension, those who are in the third dimension, and that's supposed to be the working order and the state of perfection here in this planet. That meaning the Amen on the top and the humans on the bottom. That's number 7. That's perfection. We in the fourth dimension, them on the third dimension. You follow what I'm saying? Where we belong. You see? Where we belong. But right now, the beast, he uses the number 5. 5, notice the number 5 is a prominent number amongst the beasts, and the word pentagon, pentagram, and witchcraft in which they practice, because what that is really the utilization of the 2-dimensional and the 3-dimensional together. Who are the people on the 2-dimension? You so-called black people. Who are the people on the 3-dimension? The rest of the human race, especially the Caucasians. They the ones on the, as the white people, they on the 3rd dimension as a people, and they got to keep you as a possession in the 2 dimension, equaling 5. That's how the society's built. That is the secret of pentagram, pentagon, and the five, and the fifth, and the number 5. You see, the number 5 is very prominent here. The number 7, which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about, represented the Amun race and or the elect in their place above the human race. That's what that represents, us in rulership over them. Because I told you before, there's only going to be those who are the rulers, and the rulers, the leaders, the masters, and those who are the followers and the servants and the slaves. That's the Amun race and the human race. So that's really what the number 7 represents. Y'all follow what I'm saying? Everybody follow? To link what we are currently going through and witnessing who we are supposed to be becoming in the future. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just reading your comments. Because the Bible, the question on the Bible. But I wanted to make sure everybody understood what I said about why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about the number 7 and why the Bible was sealed as the book of, they said the Bible was sealed off by the number 7, right? Because, and that's a reason why the revelation was put in the Bible, because the Bible was sealed off by the number 7, and the 7 represented a state of perfection, because the perfection was the elect on the top and the rejects on the bottom. That's how things are supposed to go. You see, the Amen on top, the humans on the bottom. You see, the Amen above and the humans below. That's how it's supposed to go. You see, because we are the foundation of everything on this planet, and they were put here to serve the Amen. That's what humans were put here to serve the Amen. Why do you think the humans instinctively always say at the end of their prayers, Amen? Why do they always, or I don't care what religion they always instinctively say at the end of their prayers, Amen, Amin, Amun. That's a sign of who they're supposed to be giving praise or raise to. And that represents you, the Amen race. You follow what I'm saying? So the Bible was sealed off the number 7. And the only thing that we were supposed to bear witness to in the Bible was the book of Revelation, because that was supposed to be the book, because that was a popular book. And, it was already foretold that would be a popular book, and that our people would go into that book and seek out that book. But it would be for the elect to recognize that the only book that really means something to us, or that resonates to us, is the book of Revelation. Everything else don't mean nothing to us. Not in this day and time. The only thing that's supposed to mean something to us is the elect, us going into that 4th dimensional state. That's where the book is supposed to be sealed from 7. We represent the 4 in the equation, and the humans represent the 3 in the equation, aka the 7, because it's not going to be any more 2-dimensional. That's why I said the black race is going to be destroyed, because, like I said, the possessions are going to be the humans. Ain't going to be no more, the possession is going to move to people. The people are going to become the possession. It's going to be one human race, all collectively as the possessions of the Amen race. That's how it's going to play out. From the 4 and the 3 is going to be the 7, and that's the perfection, and that's the close of your Bible. That's the close of it. You see. Let me see. And Amen used and allowed humans to spread the Bible to control the human masses and bring the revelation, the message of the elect. Exactly. And it was also meant good answer in Raviki. The Bible was really meant to civilize the humans. That's really what it's meant to do. If the Bible was used to civilize the humans, okay, and bring them under some form of control. This is why God and the devil was installed in their minds a higher power was installed in their minds to bring them under some kind of control, because without the Bible and without the belief in God and the devil, these humans act like straight savage. I mean, they already doing it already, but it would be on a worse level. So it was just really used to civilize the humans. That's when they came up with the starting of the religions and things like that, because it was meant to civilize the savages, civilize the humans. You see, that's all religion is for. It's not for us, for the elect, it's only to bring us into alignment as the Amen race and raise us into the fourth dimension. Other than that, it's not for us. That's for the humans. You see, references for us is made through here and there throughout the Bible, but our book is the Revelation, where everything is revealed, even who we are. That's what the Bible is for. It's just meant to civilize the humans. That's a human book. Just like the Quran is meant to civilize the Arabs. That's their book, man. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Let me see. Everything clear on what I'm saying? Let me see. Yeah. The number 7, if you notice, it looks like the formation of the Z. Exactly. I can see the 7, 4 over 3 clearly. Okay. Okay. Are those coming into Mentellect and staying the last ones of the bright race who will fall for the ways of the third dimension? Let me try to see if I understand it. Are those coming into Mentellect and staying the last ones of the bright race who will fall for the ways of the third dimension? I'm trying to understand that, how you're asking that. Are those coming into Mentellect and staying the last ones of the bright race who will fall for the ways of the third dimension? Well, if they come and they stand, they shouldn't be falling for the third dimension no more. That should be it. They shouldn't even be going back to their old ways of thinking, their old ways of life. Because if you're here to stay, then you're going to have to be reconfigured into the fourth dimension, and you're going to leave. If you keep getting bumped back into these three-dimensional things and this mood swings and double-mindedness and all this, then you're not going to stay. You're going to go right to where you belong with the black race, because that's human behavior. Like I said, emotional behavior is human behavior. Emotional behavior is human behavior. And all of that emotional and back and forth and double mind, that's human behavior. A lot of people picked up human traits from these beasts and they don't know how to shed that. It's like a virus on them. A lot of our people got a mental virus. They don't know how to move past that. Is that clear? The grays in the future, will there be a need for the elect to educate them, or will they strictly be a workforce? They're going to just work. They're just going to work. Be told what to do. The grays are actually going to be they're going to be smarter than all the humans put together. The grays are going to be an upgrade to the white race, to the black race, to all the races within the human race. The grays are going to be an upgrade. They're going to be a little bit, but they're going to still have they're going to still have that savage mentality ever so often that's going to come out, because they still are of their father's seed, the beast, black, white. They still got the degenerate and they still got the degenerate mentality of the beast. They still got the degenerate mentality of these so-called blacks and the whites. They're going to still have the degenerate mentality. And so ever so often, we're going to have to deal with them. Count my odd numbers to get 13 takes 7 fingers. Okay, all right. Religion and sports is used to calm the beast enough to follow commandments. Yeah. Yeah, training animals. That's what the Bible's for. It's to train animals and humans. That's why they gave you, notice this is why, because it is meant to be a human manual. The Bible was meant to be a human manual. That's why they gave you the story of Adam and Eve, and the beast told you them as Caucasians, because it's meant to give them some form of purpose for being on the earth, even though it's a false purpose they come with, but it gives them a purpose for being on the earth. You see, the human animals. See, because they don't really, they know their purpose here is to serve, but they just don't want to tell you who their purpose is here for to serve. They don't want you to know who they're here to serve. That's all. That's the only issue. They don't want to tell you because they know they're supposed to be serving, but they trying to act like they're supposed to be in charge. They don't even, like I said, if you look at them, they don't even really want to be in charge of anything. Because notice, they'll be in charge of the world and they'll have everything they want in the world, but they're still dissatisfied. Why is that? Because animals are never satisfied. They're always going to move off of instinct and have that need to attack and destroy and things like that. They don't know how to, be at one and be at peace. They don't know how to do that, especially now since everything they're doing is coming to an end. Is that clear? Every so often, your animal, if you if you want to know how these humans are, look at how the animals are. It's domesticated animals that will eventually become wild. It could be your dog, whatever. They will eventually get wild, and then you calm them back down and whatnot. So it's the same thing with these humans, man. Are grays becoming mechanical by way of implants? Yeah, a lot of them are. They call that transhumanism. You see, because when you see them talking about transhumanism, that's just really them making themselves what they were really meant to be in the first place. They're making themselves over into machines so that they can try and last longer. They're giving themselves mechanical hearts, mechanical pacemakers for hearts and things like that, because they really want to become machines, because they know physically they're going to break down. So they want to become machines, and they feel like machines have a longer lifespan. So that's why they get mechanical parts. They want to become one with the machine. But the machine going to still have to be programmed. And we're going to be right there to program the machine telepathically, meaning the humans. Is that clear? Humans know they're supposed to serve, and they're just, and their purpose. Even the liberal ones have what's called an existential crisis, to commit suicide and go crazy because they don't have a purpose. Exactly. That's why they kill themselves. That's why these humans kill themselves, because they don't know what to do with their life. They go, oh, life ain't worth living because I don't know what my purpose is, because they know they're supposed to be instinctively serving something, doing something. They know what they're doing. So when you see these so-called humans, they doing stuff and they trying to help you. It's not about helping you. It's about helping them to give them a reason for living. Because without a reason for living, you might as well just go and kill yourself. You're going to self-destruct. And that was implanted in the human mind for them to self-destruct. You know what I'm saying? They start to break down physically. They start becoming bums. They start becoming destitute. They start breaking down because they don't have anything to live for. They don't have a purpose. They don't have anything to do. And what they're going to be, what they're going to do is they're going to serve in the future. All right? With telepathic suggestion, will it still be necessary to interact directly with humans, or will commands be fully remote? They're going to be remote. You'll still be able. Some people are going to still talk to them and communicate with them, but for the most part, you'll just be able to send messages to them, because that's what it's going to come down to anyway. You ain't going to want to talk to them. You see, you ain't going to want to exchange with them. You're just going to send messages to them. And I'm going to just say this. I already had a vision of this already. A lot of you people, I'm going to just be real with you. Some of the elected are going to make it into the fourth dimension of men. They're going to start, down the line, they're going to start having sex with the gray women. And they're going to be sending telepathic messages to the gray women to have sex with them. They come to their house and have sex with them. And up in the abode, in the fourth dimension, they're going to take them up into, I'm not going to go weird, but they're going to start sending messages to have telepathically have sex with the gray women. And the gray women are going to go. All right, that's going to come. They'll do that. So the book of Revelation. Yep. Control them. So the book of Revelation was a book that the elite couldn't tamper with or omit. No, they couldn't. They couldn't tamper with that or omit that. That wasn't, the Amen wanted that there for a reason, for the elect to find. The book of Revelation was meant for the elect to find. It wasn't meant for the humans to read that. They don't even understand the book of Revelation. The humans don't even understand the book of Revelation or who it's really for. That's why I had to come and explain it. Notice you didn't get proper clarity on the book of Revelation until I explained it. Everybody, they ain't had nothing. Nobody spoke against when I broke it down. But that's not for the humans. That's for the almond race, to those who are coming out of the black race who are evolving into the bright races, the almond race. That's for them. The book of Revelation is for them because everything is being revealed in that book so they'll know who they are in this day and time. That's who that's for, and that's why the book was kept there for the elect to find. It wasn't for the humans. The rest of the Bible's for the humans. Yeah. So anyway, let me see. What will happen as a result of them having children with the Greys? They're gonna introduce that. Some of them are gonna be able to mesh in, but they're gonna, through the Greys, some of that positive and negative energy is going to make its way over time up into the fourth dimension. And that's going to be a problem right there. And that's going to stop a lot of people from ascending to the eighth dimension. Some of these people, it's going to take a while. I'm not talking about something, we're going to have this for a while and the lines are going to be drawn, but then you're going to have certain people that's going to start, connecting with the Greys, right? Some of the men are going to use the Greys for concubines and things like that. Some of the women might even do that. And that what that's going to do is reintroduce positive and negative into the fourth dimension. And that's going to be kicked out, but then it's going to, try to make its way over time. And what that's going to do is stop people from making it to the eighth dimension. All right. I think you mentioned that some of the kids produced by the bright and the Greys will have the ability to hover. Correct. Yeah. Some of them going to have it. Yeah. They'll have it. But what's going to make it, they're not going to be able to take flight. They'll hover because they're still going to be grounded by gravitational pull. They're going to still be grounded because the water in the human race is what grounds them by gravitational pull to the earth. You see? Why would the almond allow for some to use telepathy to get mixed? Won't that cause another disconnect? Yeah, it is going to cause another disconnect, but you're going to have people still do it. You're going to have people do it. I ain't say, like I said, this is the thing. I'm never going to say, see, remember when I said certain people are going to make it into the fourth dimension, and then you're going to have those who are going to be lost in the third dimension. You're going to have certain people who's going to be stuck in the fourth dimension. You see, some are going to get kicked back into the third dimension. Some of them are going to stay in the fourth dimension. Some are not going to be able to move in the fourth dimension. Then we're going to start moving toward the eighth dimension. You see, so that's going to be a problem within itself to cleanse out the fourth dimension. So you're going to have people that's going to go into the eighth dimension and so on and so forth, because what's going to be introduced into the fourth dimension through the mixing of the Greys is the emotional state. That's going to come long down the line. Not right away, but it's going to come long down the line. You see, you're going to have those who are arming those supreme beings. They're going to mix with some of the Greys. They're going to take some of the women and they're going to mix in with them. Use them as concubines or whatever. They're going to have children with some of them. That's going to happen. Some of those children are going to have some of the power. Some of them are going to be thoroughly mixed in. Some of it's going to take time. Some of them not going to buffer, and they're going to end up in the fourth dimension. Some of them are just going to move on to the eighth, and they're going to stay in alignment with the women they're supposed to be with. Yeah. So the mixing will just be another way to further vet out the unworthy. Yeah. 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 I think you need to ask us, the current almonds, why. I think you need to ask us, the current almond, why men want to breed with and must want more than purebreds. Well, it's going to start off with them just using the women for sex. That ain't going nowhere. That sexual entity and that desire, that ain't going nowhere. They'll just use those women for recreation, those gray women for recreation, because the gray women, it's going to be like how the so-called black women today, they throw themselves at the so-called white man, so the gray women are going to throw themselves at the bright man. They're going to throw themselves at them, you see, and the gray men are going to try to get with the bright women, but the bright women are going to be more, they're going to be more stronger really than the men when it comes to not laying with the gray men. They're going to be stronger, you see, because they're going to see the black woman go through hell as we're moving into the fourth dimension, and it's going to store in their memory the black women are going to go through hell who laid with the beast to try and purify their seed again. They're going to go through hell to do that. So it's going to be more of a impression made in their mind and the remembrance of what they won't do again. Yeah, that'll happen down the line. You're going to have people that, you know, but what that does is it creates or it brings about an mental extension for those who make it into, because again, in order to make it into the eighth dimension, your mind got to be super strong. You talking about just to make it to the fourth dimension, you talking about to the eighth dimension, it's got to be even stronger. It's going to have to be even stronger. Right? Let me see. Uh, 12th dimension out means the 12th dimension and out means other solar systems. Yeah. You're going to move into space until you reach another solar system. The moving out of the solar system, out of this solar system, means you're going to eventually move into another solar system. Now, the dimensions in those solar systems are going to be different. It's not going to be like the dimensions here. It's going to be different. It sounds like another caste system of karma. Yeah, it's going to be something like that, but it's going to be more extended. Remember I said the things here in the third dimension are going to be heightened in upper dimensions, but it won't be as much, but it will be heightened. It won't be as much, but it'll still be heightened. Let me see. The 13th and out. Yeah, the 13th and out. Yeah, that's another. See, 1 and 3, the 13 equals 4. So the fourth dimension, the 13th dimension is really the upper, highest part of the highest state of the fourth dimension into the outer dimensions, into the, that's the upper dimension equaling 4 again out into the other solar system. 12th dimension and out. Yeah, no, it's 13. Yeah. If you have siblings, what will determine who your parents and ancestors come back through? It depends on your focus here right now. See, this again, this is another reason why we can't have our focus in the third dimension. This is another reason, because you need all of your mental focus for the fourth dimension. That's why when I hear people talking about money and liberation and all this nonsense here, our focus should be on building the families and structuring ourselves for the fourth dimension and structuring our children. That's why our focus should be as the almond race. It shouldn't be nothing else, because just with that in mind and planting that in the minds of your children, that will determine you coming forward as the almond race and continuously keeping the bloodline pure and moving toward the upper dimensions. But if you up here and you saying, I'm about the fourth dimension, but I still got 3-dimensional thoughts, I'm still thinking about the third dimension, then you're going to carry that third dimension into your genetic material, and it might come out in your daughter, your son, and they might end up getting with a gray, but that's what you carried over from the third dimension you put into them. You follow what I'm saying? What you carry over into the third dimension as we go into the fourth, you're going to put into them, even if it's just a little sprinkling that some of that's going to carry over. You see? Is that clear? Yeah, the highest peak is 13. So it's filtering system to leave those types of mental traps in the dimensions. Yeah. Because only the mentally strong is going to make it out of these dimensions into other solar systems to be able to travel, because that's the ultimate travel into the other dimensions, into other solar systems. Huh? Did I make myself clear on the how you determine what your parents are and whatnot, and not even having those thoughts? Did I make myself clear on that? What about those who don't have children? You will be projected in another way. You will be projected and you will tie into the bloodline of the community, and you will come forward in another way. Those who are really of Amen, they will be projected into another way. And if you don't carry children in this side, you'll carry on the fourth dimension. You'll carry your let's just say you have a family member who is per se not in or of the fourth dimension, and you pass away on this side. That person, you might pick up, that person will pick up something. It could be an aunt, a cousin, it could be a niece, a nephew, whatever, grandchild, and they'll pick it up and they'll come here. They'll pick up your energy and they'll pick up your power and they'll come here. You'll bring them here. Are there other points you were going to make from your notes? Yeah. But did I make myself clear on the thing with the family and things like that to come forward? Did I make myself clear? I just want to make sure I'm making myself clear on that. And Ron, Vicky Z, did I make myself clear on how you decide, about your parents and whatnot, and the focus has to be made there? Okay. Should we teach our children accounting and finance, but not money? Yeah, you can teach them accounting and finance. That's fine. All right. Let me look at these other questions. Give me a second. The fourth dimension, now that we're in the third right now, it is hovering as a shadow dimension. What do I mean by shadow dimension? It is it's like coming into form. It's like that brightness that's coming into alignment with this state right here, and is hovering as a shadow. Like, in other words, the presence of the fourth dimension is hovering and coming into this state right now. And the reason why it is hovering as a shadow dimension is because we are coming out of the darkness. We are coming out of the stages of darkness and into a stage of brightness. We're bypassing the light, because the light is Luciferianism. So we bypassing Luciferianism, and we already come out of the state of Satanism. We bypassing Luciferianism. We come out of the state of Satanism, meaning chaos and confusion and darkness. We're going past Luciferianism, which is where you humans are in the third dimension. We're trying to make a straight connect to the brightness, or brightness, which is Amen. So, that has to come out of the darkness and into the bright. We bypassing the light. We bypassing it. So when I say bypass the light, what I mean is bypass whatever you hear the white man saying, what he's trying to push off his light, because he's He represents light in this day and time because the light is false. He represents light. So we have to bypass the darkness and the light to get to the brightness. Do I make myself clear? Do I make myself clear? Am I coming in clear? Mm-hmm. And I told you people, those of you who are not in the Republican Mentellect yet, you need to be in the Republican Mentellect. You need to be in the community. I said that over and over and over again. I said this over and over and over again. You need to be in the Republican Mentellect, in the community. And like I said, I'm not trying to sell a community to black people. I am advising and telling those of you who would truly feel you are of the bright race, you know you're of the bright race, and you're in reception to this. This is where we are building the mental projection at as a community. How else do you project forward as a community if you got people on the outside looking in, trying to zap or pull things from the inside out? No, we are supposed to be inside and projecting outward and receiving as a collective body. Does that not strengthen the power? Does that not strengthen the mental power? Y'all think I'm telling y'all to come, those of you who are not in the Republican Mentellect, you think I'm telling you to come into where, or come home to where you belong? E.T. come home. E.T. come home. E.T., those of you who know you E.T.s of the bright race, you're supposed to come home where you belong. The ROM.info. The ROM.info. You can't strengthen the power of things here if, like I said, you still riding on the black frequency. If you're not in the Republican Mentellect, then you still ride on the black frequency, because it's only black people that feel we don't need to come together. That's only black people that feel that way. It's only black people that feel we should be individuals and we don't need a community. So again, if you're not here and you're saying you're with me, you're not really with me. You're not getting what I'm saying. You're only receiving bits and pieces of what I'm saying. And if that's just good enough for you, then you might as well not even listen anymore. You might as well stay black. You follow? Am I making myself clear? All right. 20 years, you got to be 20 years old to join the Republican Mentellect. 20 years old and up. All right. So we got, like I said, we have to speed these things up. Let me look through some more of these. Let me look through some more of these. See, because it's going to come a time, like I said, where nobody's going to have to even question. Because somebody asked a question about some people that might have bright characteristics and bright, Enron asked, it was asking somebody else, but I just want to share because it was a good question. She said, Enron was asking another Enron, if somebody has bright characteristics or brightness about them, but they're skeptical about the community, how do you convince them? Something along those lines. I said, you don't. It's not for them. We're not trying to convince nobody. We're not trying to convince. See, you got to get that out of your mind. We don't want to convince anybody. Either you hear this and you know what's being said is real, logically, rationally, and you know what time it is, you know it's real, you know this evolution, or you don't. If you don't, you don't belong here. Simple as that. We're not convincing anybody of anything. If you don't know this is if you don't know at this time there's nothing else, that means you still in the beast, you still trust, and you still bringing that energy to us. You still bringing that. Well, if this don't work out, then, maybe we should be worrying about the money and what we going. Nah, man. It's all or nothing, man. We need everything. We need everything. We ain't convincing nobody of anything. We don't want no black people in here we got to convince. You see? We don't want that. You see? Exactly. Those who use dues as paying excuses, black people, because they can't pay for, like I said, they again, and I'm not even going to make it about no money and no dues and nothing like that. It's more about sacrifice. I told you, you got to give something to get something. It's always going to be like that, no matter where you are. third dimension, fourth dimension, eighth dimension, 12th dimension. You're going to have to give something to get something. To move to that next level, to continuously move, you have to give something. What do you have of value to give? In this state, money. That's it. What else you got? What else you got that we can utilize? We can utilize money. We can't utilize nothing else. We can't utilize well wishes. We can't utilize people telling me, oh, I like what you're saying, Mentellect. I can't use that. We can't use that. Nobody can use. We can use the money. That's what you give. That's the sacrifice. You give what is useful. So if you bring in this thing, you just feel like, oh, I'm here. That's not useful. You see? That's not useful. If you couldn't get it on the first go round and you got any questions, as if you belong, do you belong here? Then you don't belong here. You don't. You either of Amen or you're not of Amen. Simple as that. I told you this is not for black people. See, the problem is people still think this is something for black people. See, black people are used to having choices. See, black people are used to having choices. Like, for example, they'll be, black people, you will be a Muslim or a Christian or Israelite or a metaphysician or into Satanism now, Luciferianism, into metaphysics, all these things. See, black people are used to having choices. See, but the bright race, we ain't got no choice. We only got one direction. We only got one road. There's only one, because all those other ones are false. Every last single thing I named was false. See, they still in that black mindset where they think they got choices. You see? Because they still stuck in the third dimension. We leaving them people behind, man. See, you still got people here just asking questions. Black people asking me questions. I don't mind. I'll answer. It says, after 1,000 years of rulership based on revelation and the Asians coming into power because of the niggas, will they rule separately and punish niggas and while still ruling the world? Well, the beast is trying to make the Asians right now. They're trying to put them in power, and they're trying to utilize them, the world over. They already dealing with the Asians right now. But see, the Asians are not going to be able to hold power. They're already dealing with the Asians. The Asians already being dealt with. They've always been the cousins or the family to the Caucasians. Yeah. All right. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah. So, let me see. Now, the Asians are not going to be in rulership or nothing. They're going to go into the gray race. They're going to go into the gray race. That's why, if you notice in that movie Get Out, where the guy he showed you the Caucasians there, but then they also showed you the Asian with them. A lot of people missed that in the movie Get Out, where they had all the white people who wanted to take over the black people's bodies. They wanted the black people's bodies, and the Asian was there too. The Asians are the Caucasian, or the cousins to the Caucasians. The Asians and Caucasians are family, man. They family. That's why they come over here, they get white status. The beast already trying to utilize them already. But it ain't going to work. It ain't going to matter. Kim Jong-il ain't with them, man. That's all right. It ain't going to matter. Let me see. I'm making sure I read all of this off. Hold on. Let me see. My thing is, as far as the money thing go, I don't even talk about money more. If black people still talking about money to me as a problem, don't even talk to me, man. Don't talk to me, please. If that's still an issue, if money's still an issue with black people, I don't even want to hear it, man. That shouldn't even be no issue, man. How you want to be talking about this? This what blows my mind. Listen to me. This what blows my mind. You got people up here talking about the ascension and mental power and almond and all this great deep stuff, but then they got a problem with $144. Really? They got a problem with it. They don't even understand that that's really symbolic. Why I said 144. You see, you only get that. You gonna tell me about, you understand about things about the brightness, but you got a problem with $100, $144. You got a problem with that? And that's not even about them. Again, if you black, I don't want the money. We don't want it. We don't want your money if you're black. It's symbolic of something. I keep trying to tell you, there's a reason why we set $144 every 30 days. It's symbolic of something. But like I said, if we got to still talk to people about that, then that means you are black people. And we don't want you. You see, that means you materialistic. That means you part of the material world. You part of people, place, and possession, because that money means something to you. It really does mean something to you. That's why you keep telling, oh, well, brother, I got a hard time. And you know that every month. Then stop talking to me. Don't talk to me. Please don't. Because you sound stupid talking to me or asking me questions or thinking, oh, I'm going to just listen to the broadcast. I don't need to be a member. You don't need to be a member. You don't. You can keep listening. It don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. What we doing this for is those who are really of the elect. That's what we doing this for. I do this for them. Because I told you the ones who are of the elect, it means something totally different from the people who are on the outside. So, let me get back. I'm not even going to get into all that today. I just tell you people all the time, man, the reason why I keep talking about community, the bright race, this is not a game, man. But you still bringing me black issues. Even the people who have issues, who walking with me with that money thing, y'all still coming with black stuff, man. All that black nonsense, man. You still value money like that for real? All you doing is paying bills with it. That's all we all doing with it. It don't mean nothing, but it means something to y'all. Oh, let me check some more of these questions. Yeah, give me a second. Give me a second. No, the money's not to build a community. The money's not to build a community. The money is to cement the community, not build it. It's to cement the community. Like you have the bricks and you need something to keep the bricks together, like the cement. So I guess, yeah, in a way it is building it, but how do you know what the strongest bricks? I'm just going to say this and I'm going to go on to the next question. Just logically. How do you know what the strongest bricks are in the foundation if you don't put them to a test? What's the best test you could put black people to see, or bright people to see if they're not black? You ask them for money. That's how you put black. That's how you know who the black people are, who the bright people are. You ask them for money, and you continuously ask them for money, a set amount of money over time every month, and you see if they can do it. Now, when they're not able to do it, that'll show you who the black people are versus who the bright people are. The bright people do that like it ain't nothing. That's nothing to them because it ain't nothing. It really is nothing. But you don't have, in anything we had in the world, we had to give something. We had to sacrifice something to give to get. You got to give to get. But when they don't want to give, that means they don't think what they're getting is worth it, but then they want to still ask for something. That shows you who the black people are. That's how you separate the black from the bright. You ask them for money. Because anybody can come in here and claim they bright and don't have to pay nothing. But when it starts to cost you something, which is really nothing, then all of a sudden they'll show you who they are. And that's how you separate. You follow? Everybody follow? The glue. That's how you follow. That's how you know. That's how you know who's black and who's bright. Start asking for money. That'll show you right there. That'll show you who's really supporting this and who's really a part of this and who's not. Just ask for money. That's all. And they'll tell you right then and there if they really are down for this, are they up for this or not. The people that put other things ahead of their dues and put other things ahead of being in this community, those are the black people who playing like they bright. Hold on. Because there's no other way to test it. You tell me. There's no other way to test it. You can ask all the questions. They'll hairline you to death, hairline you to death. Just keep asking for money and they'll show you. Just keep asking for money. That's the way to get the phone in. Did I not tell y'all in the beginning? We really charge dues to make sure that we don't get no black people here. Because we know black people ain't gonna want to keep doing that. Black people ain't gonna want to keep supporting nothing, paying no dues. They ain't gonna want to do that. That's how we get rid of the black people. If you don't ask them for nothing, they'll stay here and they'll keep lowering the frequency. Right or wrong? Money's a dividing rod. Money's what we're using as a dividing rod. You follow? You know? No, money, we see money as a dividing rod. That's the divider's rod. You see? That's the dividing rod. For us, that's what we utilize the money for a divider's rod. And of course, for other things, of course, we're going to utilize this to be spent. It's being given back to the beast, but we use it for a dividing rod because that's how you know who's black and who's bright. Black people don't want to give no money. They don't see this as nothing. They only want to be part of it if it's, you know what I'm saying? They only want to be part of it if it's free. It ain't nothing. Give me a second. The real blueprint to power from the almond. Let's see. Give me a second. Oh, I never touched on the I never touched on the demon semen. I never touched on demon semen. I'm gonna touch on a little bit of that today. It's key for you women to file if you got, if you are courting men who got demon semen in them, because you got demon semen, demonic semen in men. What is demonic semen? All right, the demon semen. The demonic semen is that semen, right? The man I told you, it only comes from the testicles. It does not go up the brain. It does not go up the spine to the brain to receive that charge. Nor does it come back down. The demon semen is usually the semen that just sits in your testicles and it's ejaculated by a bunch of males, black, whatever, white, whatever. It's just earthbound semen. That's it. Earthbound semen, demented semen that cannot be extended. That's demon semen or demonic semen. It can't be extended. You see? All right. Let me see. You get some more questions. Because I'm going to end this at 7:30 because y'all know I got to do the broadcast tonight. I'm doing the Planet of the Apes one, so I'm going to touch on that. Yeah, money is just a tool. That's the divider's rod. That's the dividing rod. I'm going to end this at 7:30. You messed up. Hold on. I'm asking more questions. Give me a second. Will Amen place a hedge of protection over the elect? Yeah. 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 Amen will they will produce a hedge over the elect. Yeah. And that's why I say anything that is, of Amen will be extended and restored and moved for. Anything that's not is going to be destroyed over time. Even as the black race goes into the gray race, they being destroyed, man. Black people are being destroyed by mixing in with the human race. They're being destroyed. Who you were genetically gets lost. A piece of your genetic material gets lost. It gets weakened when you mix your seed with these humans. So you are virtually being destroyed. And so a lot of our people who are going to come to the other side, who have mixed their seed, they're going to have to regenerate their bloodline. They're going to have to regenerate it. Let me see. Because the Amen, they see the mixing with the humans as a form of bestiality. That's how the Amen see it. That's beast. They see the humans as animals. They don't see the humans as anything other than animals. That's it. I touched on solar flares altering the lunar Earth. Yeah. And to planet Amen. I touched on that. I spoke on that already. That's not cool. Yeah. Yes, second. How do you know if your children have lost their souls? Right. Right. Yeah. Okay. How the demonic blacks produce the devilish whites. Okay, let me go and touch on that. Because I meant to touch on that. Mostly when your bright people came onto this side and they started to clone themselves. They started to produce the primitive blacks, the tribal ones. They started to produce those type of people. That became how I want to say, that became that they created a gravitational pull when they created, or they started cloning and creating humans and cloning themselves and creating humans. They created a gravitational pull, all right, between levitation and gravitation. They created the pull, and thus in creating that pull, they created the polarity. And this is where demonic entity or possession comes from, in the creation of that polarity. You see, because positive and negative produces what? Confusion. And when confusion comes, demonic energy comes in, anger, emotion, all of these things. So when they started creating and cloning humans here, they created a polarity. They created beings who were of the gravitational pull, because prior to that, it was only those who came down from a levitational lift, even though they were, being projected down into this atmosphere. But when they started creating people here, they created the polarity here, and that's where the demonic possession came from. And so your first demonic entities on the earth were so-called black people. They were the so-called blacks, the ones who because we started, so-called even though I say the white man call us black people, but we started to become black people mentally when we were disconnected from the fourth dimension. So when we were disconnected from the fourth dimension and we started getting locked into the third, that's when we started becoming black people, because that wasn't making reference to our skin color. It was making reference to our mental capability. We started being severed from the fourth dimension, that state of brightness. We were severed from that and we became black over time. We started losing memory, we started losing extension, we started losing mental capability. So we started going darker and darker and darker until we lost ourselves altogether. You follow what I'm saying? And in losing ourselves, we became those black people. Y'all follow? Is that clear? And that's what that so-called negative and positive shift start coming in, because some of us were trying to pull up, and then you had some of us who wanted to stay down. They wanted to pull down even further and get into that. And that's the people of today, the ones who talking about they from Africa, that we come from Africa. They earthbound people. You see what I'm saying? And that created that that division and that demonic energy, that malevolent energy started to come about. And that's where that whole so-called God and the devil energy came onto the planet from. Because you had the benevolent ones of our people who wanted to reconnect to the fourth dimension, wanted to stay connected. Then you had those who wanted to be just locked into the earth and wanted to, do the thing. And then when the humans came along, they started mixing their seed with them. They started doing this, you know what I'm saying? They started, giving energy to the human genetic and the humans. And then they became eventually the humans became the, that devil and that devilish energy from the demonic source, which was just so-called black people. The first black people was housing the demons was the black people that was cloned down here, and the primitive ones who became your early tribal Africans who was produced here. They started carrying that demonic energy on them. That's why if you look at a lot of their so-called tribal African rituals, don't they be getting the damn demons on them? You see them, and it look like them Negroes in the damn Pentecostal church. They be doing all them ritual dances. They be having like their face be looking all bugged out and stuff. You ever see that? They start doing all that demonic dancing. Y'all see what I'm saying? I want to make sure before I answer any more questions, everybody clear on what I'm saying? They start getting locked into the earth tone and things like that. And they start becoming those people who love the earth dimension. They start becoming demonic. Those are your first demons. You see? And they gave birth to that demonic energy and that the demonic spirit energy. A lot of those are the early demons that are locked in the earth. All right? That's why I said a lot of these so-called black people are right on the side of the beast, man, because they got that demonic energy on them. A lot of them are the holdbacks, are holdovers from that demonic energy, and they are part of that demonic semen. They're part of the demonic semen. Those are the people today that side right with the so-called white man. They side with the beast. Those are the people who want to stay in this condition. They part of that extension of that demonic. It's the same way we are extensions, or we are connected to the elect. Those of us. Then you got those who are part of that demonic seed, man. That demonic seed. Let me see. Is it possible for us before we were projected here to have saved our parents from near-death experiences in order for us to come forward through them? Similar to much as, yeah. You were the ones who saved your parents. You were the ones, because they were obviously decent enough for you to come through, and they probably were not, obviously, a lot of them were not of the demonic seed, but they would not be of the ascension neither, but they were decent enough vessels to come through. So a lot of you saved them or kept them out of harm's way so that they can be there to give birth to you. So yeah, the ascension is controlled by the future ones who bring them about. You see, you saved them. Okay. I'll get to that question. I've seen you, Michelle Z. I just want to make sure. Does projection occur similar to photography? Camera light captures 3D images, transfers to 2D image. Did the almond capture the 4D image and burn it into a third? I said that. Yeah, I said that. I said it was projections like photography. They projected the image from the fourth dimension into the third dimension. They burned the image in here. I said that already. I did in the broadcast. What is the key to the express thinking? Does it involve being in the void? Somewhat. I said I'm gonna touch on that in the first. If a man can't teach a woman, they don't need a woman. Yeah, correct. Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure I get a advanced biological machines versus enhanced biological machines. The advanced biological machines are going to be the people who are of the almond race who are going into the fourth dimension. Those are the ones who are going to be able to advance through projection, through extended mental projection. Those are the ones who are going to be able to advance. The enhanced ones represent the beast who he's trying to create the gray race, and he has to push all of the races together to enhance their power to be able to live in this atmosphere, live in this environment. So that's a form of enhancement by pushing everything together and also adding all kinds of mechanical and things to basically extend themselves. That's enhanced. Enhanced versus advanced, meaning we're going to mentally advance as a natural form of outgrowth and extended projection. See, this is why the beast is going so hard to mix everything together. He's trying transhumanism using machine parts because he's trying to outlive or outrun the almond. He's trying to stay ahead of the almond, but all the machine parts, the computerization and the mixing the races is not going to help him. It's just going to make them better slaves. That's all. So yeah, we represent the advanced biological machines as the almond race, the fourth dimensionals, and the humans who are trying to produce the gray race as a way of survival and to continue on. They represent the enhanced biological machines. That's why they're the ones that's always coming up with mechanical hearts, transplanting hearts from what's putting the pacemakers in, all the electrical stuff, bionic arms, bionic legs. Those are enhanced. All right. Let me see. Am I making myself clear? Clear. Okay. Is everything clear? All right. From Native Bronze Americans to Black African Americans, that was something that was done here. I'll probably do a broadcast. I was trying to sneak that in before because I told you after this, I'm not talking no more about black people. I'm done talking about black people because that's beating a dead horse. That occurred here where they forced our people, where we knew we were the Native Americans here in this country, the bronze, or what they call copper-colored people. We already knew we were the Native Americans, the descendants of the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca, and the Mayan. We already knew we was the descendants of those people. So what they did was they gonna tell us that we was African, we Negro, that we came here. So they basically the beast will try and tell you lies right in front of your face at gunpoint. On census, they could start calling you went from Native Americans and people who was already over here to African American, Negro, Black. You went right to that. There's no such thing as no Black or African American people. The African American people are the people that's coming over here from Africa and becoming and living in that's African American. All right. Who was the first real Illuminati on Earth? That was the elect who came here. The ones who projected here, the fallen almond. They were the first Illuminati. I did a broadcast on that. They were the first Illuminati here, the fallen almond. They were the first Illuminati that projected here. And they're the real ones that the reason why Intel keeps coming here. The only reason why Intel keeps coming here is because the elect are here. And it's not coming here for the so-called white man. The elect represent the magnets that draw intelligence to the planet. The humans are just taking what's being drawn here. That's all. They just take what's drawn here. It's not coming to them. It's being attracted by you. It's being attracted by you. But they're taking what you're attracting. You see, by calling you black people, that's a way that they keep your energy controlled. By them calling you black people, that's a way they keep your energy controlled. You follow? That's how they block you from receiving your transmission or your reception, by calling you black people. So if you get all these people to agree that they black people, that they African, that they Negro, then that means that all the transmission that's supposed to be for the bright race, the almond race, is going to bypass them and go to what's being the people that's being called the white race. Because see, white sounds a lot like bright. You notice that? White sounds a lot like bright. These people are more open-minded. They don't have as much history and tradition. The so-called Caucasians, they more open-minded to listen to things, learn things, and be open receivers. They don't have that slave mentality like you so-called black people. So whatever comes here is going to go directly to them. It's going to bypass you because the almond don't recognize what's called black people. They don't recognize what's called African American. They don't recognize what's called Negro. They don't recognize that. They recognize the bright receivers who were projected here. That's who they're looking for. That's the signal that they're trying to transmit to. Those are the people they're signaling. They ain't signaling no black people. You follow what I'm saying? They're not signaling no black people. Do I make myself clear? Let me see what. Let me get this question. I'm gonna make sure. Make sure I got all these questions. Fatal and final judgment. The fatal judgment is the fatal would be the destruction of the people who didn't make it over, because the beast is going to destroy a lot of you who are going to become part of the gray race. He has to destroy the black race. That's part of the fatal, and that'll be the final judgment for those who are going to cross over into the fourth dimension. But the fatal judgment is going to come for those who stay within the third dimensional state as black people. They're going to get fatal judgment. You see them getting fatal judgment all day right now. You see them getting the beast taking everything out on them. So they're getting their fatal judgment right now, being put to death at the hands of the beast. They're getting their fatal judgment right now. And it's a final judgment. And also, same thing for the elect who is being raised up. That's the final judgment. And we're going to watch these people, who didn't make the cut. They're going to suffer, because they really want to work against those who have made the cut. That's the reason why they're going to, if you suffer in silence, that's one thing, but don't try to take nobody with you. And that's what black people are trying to do. Black people know they ain't got no plan for nothing. There's no plan. They know it's no direction. They just sitting around waiting on white people to see what white people say. Oh, when's the next person to vote for? Who's going to be the new politician? Who's going to be, when we're going to get reparation, all the BS, all the stuff that ain't going to never happen. They trying to do all that, and they know that's not real, but they're going to subject black people, simple-minded people to this foolishness, this nonsense that they, feminism, this libertarian garbage. Like I said, all the bright race got to focus on is coming together as a community and having children, bringing forward families, and producing intelligent children. That's all we got to do. Work together, produce community, and produce intelligent children, establish our law and order, and put almond only. That's it. That's all we got to do. Everything else we don't need to do. We ain't got to be voting. We ain't got to be arguing with the white man. We ain't got to be asking for no reparations. We ain't doing all that. That's the black race. That's what they do. Good luck with that. Do I make myself clear? Let me see. Let me make sure I'm getting all these questions. Is this the first time some of the almond race have lowered themselves to the level of the creations? You talking about, Vic, you talking about when they projected here and they started, lowering themselves, or you talking about what are you talking about? Is this the first time, meaning now? I'm trying to understand when you said, is this the first time? Yeah, the first time was when we projected him. We started creating the humans and the clones, and start doing and then we started lowering. That was the first time. That's when we created the polarity here. Many of our skin not with us. Okay. Kenny football. Other than Elijah Muhammad, Dr. York, and the elect, was anybody else in the Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad and the Nawapians under Dr. York of the projection? No. because they're gonna come. The one, see, it was never about Dr. York and Elijah Muhammad. They were just holding the spot until I came on the scene. That's all. They were just holding the spot until I came on the scene because you see, Islam had nothing to do with us. So that couldn't have been our teaching. That couldn't have been what raised us. All those teachings did was gather us together as a people, which is what we needed before we started receiving the true knowledge. We had to come together and be gathered as people. And that's what Elijah Muhammad and Dr. York showed us, even though that wasn't the knowledge they were teaching that was going to keep us together. It was the knowledge that was meant to gather us, but not keep us together. That's why you see the Nation of Islam, after Elijah Muhammad gathered them together, you see it all came apart. And now you see people who are a bunch of former followers trying to regenerate or restart these things, but it's not working. It's not working on this generation here. You got certain young people, a lot of them, they just do it because they don't know which way to go. And a lot of them are on that level, but it wasn't meant to be a long-term thing. It was meant to just gather our people together, and that was it. They supposed to be coming here. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali followers when they fell out, when they fell off, and they organizations came to an end, he told them to come to the Nation of Islam. You supposed to be following me. That's what Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. All they followers will come over here into the Nation of Islam because they organization were no more. So now it's the same thing with it's the same thing with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Dr. York. You got stewards of people who are stewards of their organizations, who running their organization or being, keeping everything together. But that's just for that small contingent of people, man. They're not of the elect. They're not of the elect, because talking about Egypt and Islam, that's not elect knowledge, man. Talking about the past is not elect knowledge. You got to be talking about the future. You have to be bringing forth a new picture, a new and extended picture, or a next picture for your people, I should say. Not new, but next. If they not bringing no next picture with no Islam. Now, are they? Are they bringing any next picture with Islam? Are they bringing any next picture with Egyptology? We've been there, done that already. So what do they keep talking about that for? Because they're not connected to nothing else. Am I making myself clear? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Just looking at the last days. Yeah, brightness will overtake the planet. Let me see. Did I make myself clear? As honorary, will you gather the next people to move them through the 8th dimension, or will you project another planet and raise the planet to the 4th dimension? Let me see. Yeah, Willie. That 9 times out of 10, I can't say if that's going to be me. That probably won't be me. That taking people into the 8th dimension probably won't be me. Might be me. I can't say. That's one of the things I honestly can't say. It'll probably be somebody else. Maybe from my bloodline. I can't say. I know my job is to raise the people into the 4th dimension. That's my job now. And then to the next, to raise them into the next dimension. So hell, I might have to come back as a 4th dimensional being into the 3rd dimension and get people again. That's left behind. Might have to do that again. I shouldn't have to do it again, and I would think it would be for me to go from the 4th dimension to the 8th. It may be. All I know right now, I'm telling you what I know, is from the 3rd dimension to the 4th dimension. Who's guiding from the 4th to the 8th? I don't know. It may be me. I don't know. I honestly can say that. I can honestly say that. I don't think I'm going to have to come back. But that was the whole thing of the messenger between heaven and hell. I'm the messenger between heaven and hell. Y'all don't know this by now? I'm the messenger between the 3rd and the 4th dimension. I'm getting y'all I'm moving y'all, bringing, gathering our people again into the 3rd dimension. You see, the ones who fell off into the 2nd dimension, I got to regather the people into the 3rd dimension and move them into the 4th dimension. That's going to be long. Long and drawn out until the elect are gathered. But they're going to be gathered. But I don't know who's going to lead from the 4th to the 8th. I don't know. We got to get to the 4th first. We got to have all these powers first. It might be me again. Might pop up again. Might be. I might end up. I might see y'all back on the. Might see y'all at the 12th dimension, at the eighth, or at the end of the 8th dimension, going into the 12th dimension. That might be. I might see y'all in the 12th dimension. You see. So, am I making myself clear? I mean, the first time as far as going from solar system to the solar system, is this the first solar system where we got off track so far we sunk to the low? No, it wasn't. It happened other places. It happened other places. Not to this extent, but it happened. See why I'm gonna tell you why it really happened to the extent so much in this place and not in other places. Because we made the humans so much in our image and whatnot, the animal genetic, that the downfall was that we made them so much in our image, like, two hands walking up and things, like talking to us and things like that, and having the physical image, that we began to have compassion for them. See, the more you make something like yourself, the more you start having compassion for that, for that thing that you created. You follow what I'm saying? The more you put yourself into something, the more personal it becomes to you. So therefore, you start having more of a personal connection with that creation. You see, and then when it comes to the time when you have to deal with that creation, to destroy that creation, you like, no, you start having feelings and emotion toward it because you put so much of yourself in that. See, in the other dimensions, the almond didn't put themselves like that into whatever creations they didn't do that. You see, they didn't do that. You follow what I'm saying? Is that clear? Making sure I got all that. Let me see. Make sure I got that. Yeah, Dr. York wasn't the Messiah. He wasn't. I'm the Messiah. I'm the messenger Amen. All Messiah means is messenger Amen. That's all that really means. Just like Lord only means law and order. That's all that means. It was really reestablishing the law and the order of Amen on earth through Amen's messenger. That's it. That's all the Messiah is. One who is going to establish law and order of Amen on earth again. That's it. Do I make myself clear? Why would some of the Amen not be physically bright? They appear dark physically, but have advanced mental abilities. But on. Why would some Amen not be physically bright? They're not. A lot of these. Well, if you're not physically bright, then you're not of Amen. You're not of Amen. Some of these people are just under human. They're under that human frequency. A lot of these people are under human frequency. So whatever. See, Amen is a state of mind first before it is a physical state. It has to be a state of mind. You have to be of Amen. You have to be of the collective mindset of Amen. You have to be of that mental connection of Amen. See, it's the same way as being part of that bloodline. You got to be part of that mental line. You have to be part of that mind line. Same way you have a bloodline, there's a mind line. In other words, you have to be born into that mentally. Certain people are not born into it. Some people are just some people are just clones. And the mass majority of black people are just clones here. You see, so they're not born of it mentally. So they're never going to get that. You see, they are what they are, and that's it. A lot of them were just used as vessels so that we could come through them. And it doesn't mean that they were bad people or evil people. They just are people of a time frame, of a certain mind frame, of a certain dimension. And that's it. That's it. They were just used for us to come through. Is that clear? And Raviki, was that clear? What I answered to you, was that clear? I just want to make sure that was clear. And Raviki. What does the little grays flying around down here for? What does the little grays flying around down here for? I don't know what that means. All right. I don't know what that means. And Rod Deborah, what is the little grays flying around down here for? I don't know what that means. I'll take a couple more. I'm about to end this in a minute because I got to get ready for tonight. All right. Taking last questions. Oh, what they calling grays here? I told you really they're really future humans that in other realms. That's really what they're calling gray here, and that's what your humans will become over time. Your grays, what you're seeing is what you're gonna see your humans become that over time. The grays are nothing but advanced versions of humans. That's so. Remember, I told y'all that the grays are nothing but advanced versions of humans over time. You see, because grays were bred on other planets. That's why I said the almond and those planets. They used grays. See, they didn't have no physical connection for the grays because the grays, look at them. They didn't have no physical connection. See, they learned their lesson from a lot of with this here. They didn't want to make the humans or the grays look like them because they kind of already knew that people would start to, certain people would start to connect to them. They already foresaw this happening already. With the almond starting to be more connected to the humans because a lot of us went into them. So they made sure they just used the grays and made sure they wouldn't, in no kind of way we could perceive them as attractive or wanting to deal with them or be with them or connect with them. So they made them like that so that we would be far removed from them. You follow? But they're here to connect with they're here to help. They really here to help the humans to be part of. When they talked about they found the grays and things like that, they're really basically here to, give the humans future guidance to, because they're helping in the humans to, mesh into one. Okay. Okay, I answered that already. Do you need vehicles for transportation through portals? No. Mm-mm. Because at the highest point of every dimension, that's an open portal. The highest point of every dimension, like here in this Earth, what's being called Earth, the 13th dimension is a portal. Like at the top of every dimension of every planet in the solar system, wherever you are, there's an open door, there's an open portal. You can walk out of it. You can literally walk out. You can literally levitate out of it because by the time you reach the 13th dimension, you should already know how to fly. You should already know how to levitate out. That's why when the Beast made that movie with Superman, notice Superman would come into the Earth and leave the Earth. He would go up and go down, come up and out of there. He had to leave through dimensions to leave out of here. You see, and I'm talking about going into other solar systems because the Beast never went to another solar system before, but he knows they're real. You follow? Is everybody clear on what I'm saying? That's how you know that the grays that they're talking about. That's how you know that the grays are still limited in there because they still traveling through vehicles. We ain't gonna need no vehicles to travel. We're gonna be the vessel. We already gonna know how to take flight. The grays don't know how to fly. We gonna know how to fly though. They need vessels. Like the white man need a vessel to go to the moon, or supposedly, as he's saying, trying to go to Mars. He need vessels. We're not gonna need that. All right. Because we're going to receive our power directly from the sun, and we're going to be powered by the sun. So therefore, we don't. What greater power do we need to push into other solar systems, into other dimensions other than solar projection. What other power we need? Is that clear? All right. All right. Then I'm about, no more questions. I'm about to close out. The Greys and the humans are the same. That's why. Yeah, they're the same. That's why the Greys came to them. They're the same. They know who their people are. All right. All right. All right. All right. We're going to close out in the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. And Amen we trust. And Amen we thank. And Amen we continue forward forever. Share, like, share. You know, I ain't in for the likes and the shares, but I just say that anyway. Like, share, like. And we'll do this again in another 2 weeks. We'll close on the name of Amen, by the power of Amen. And Amen we trust. And Amen we thank. And Amen we continue forward forever. I am the intellectual noob Menkari. This has been Mentellect Live. Good night. End in stream.